For all its beauty and splendor, the wilderness can be a cruel teacher. Yellowstone National Park's beauty is matched only by its dangers. Amidst the abundant wildlife, scorching hot springs, and rugged terrains, it's inevitable that something will occur among the millions of visitors and park employees who grace this magnificent park each year. Please click the subscribe and like buttons. This is Outdoor Disasters. In the northwestern region of Wyoming, nestled within the heart of the American western frontier, lies the majestic Yellowstone National Park. When early explorers ventured into this rugged expanse and beheld its astonishing scenery, their attempts to describe what they witnessed to those back in civilization were met with skepticism. With its snow-draped peaks, rugged canyons, unimaginable waterfalls, and the myriad of steaming hot springs dotting the landscape, it's no wonder that many found it difficult to believe in the existence of such a place. Yellowstone National Park is a place where nature unveils its most exquisite artistry, painted with geysers that erupt like fireworks, canyons that tell tales of time, and meadows that are akin to a painting. Established in 1872, it holds the distinction of being the first national park in the world, setting the precedent for the protection and preservation of natural wonders worldwide. Yellowstone is renowned for its extraordinary geothermal features, including the iconic Old Faithful Geyser. The park boasts more geysers and hot springs than anywhere else on Earth, with colorful pools like the Grand Prismatic Spring captivating visitors. It is a haven for wildlife enthusiasts. Yellowstone is home to diverse wildlife species, including grizzly bears, wolves, bison, elk, moose, and many others. Yellowstone Lake is the largest high-altitude lake in North America, adding to the park's scenic allure. Yellowstone sits atop a massive volcanic caldera, which is responsible for the park's geothermal features. The volcano beneath the park is still considered active, with a looming disaster when the Earth decides to unleash its unmatched power. Yellowstone is a destination national park for millions from around the world, where visitors can explore Yellowstone through a network of roads, trails, and boardwalks. Yellowstone is not just a park. It's a promise to protect, cherish, and pass on the irreplaceable wonders of our natural world to generations. As you stand on Yellowstone's hallowed ground, you feel a love for the land, its creatures, and the awe-inspiring vistas that leave you in awe. The park is a reminder of the profound connection between humanity and the wild, and the precious responsibility we share in preserving its splendor for all time. For Sara Hulphers, her Yellowstone outing would be horrific. At the age of 20, and hailing from Oroville, Washington, Sara was a junior majoring in biology at Western Washington University. Yellowstone often welcomes college students in the hundreds, offering them a memorable summer experience. Many cherish this opportunity for life, thanks to reasonable work hours, dormitory-style accommodations reminiscent of college life, the chance to forge lifelong friendships with people from all corners of the country, and free time to explore the surrounding wilderness in one of the world's most renowned parks. The college employees worked in the Old Faithful area under AMFAC Parks and Resorts. On August 21, 2000, a group of friends and coworkers decided to enjoy an afternoon swim near Mound Geyser in the Firehole River. Among them were Sara Hulphers, along with Tyler Montague, 18, of Salt Lake City, and Lance Buchi, 18, of Holiday, both cities in Utah, and the two were recent high school graduates. While Montague worked at Old Faithful Lodge, Buchi and Hulphers were employed at Old Faithful Inn. They hopped in their vehicles and traveled the 18 miles to the Firehole River area they planned to swim. The swimming hole in Firehole Canyon is one of two swimming areas inside Yellowstone National Park. The name Firehole River may lead you to believe this is heated by hot springs, but the swimming area is a cool temperature similar to an unheated swimming pool. Those used to swimming in rivers and lakes would not feel any difference in this water temperature. In collecting all of the mineral-rich water, which has been naturally heated by the Earth, the Firehole River can run 15 degrees warmer than surrounding rivers and lakes, with the steam that's often emitted from the surface being one of the reasons for its name. Park visitors come to swim in the Firehole River swimming hole, where water temperatures hover at a moderate 75 degrees Fahrenheit or 23.8 degrees Celsius. But in this case, the group ventured into the backcountry part of the river. They spent the entire afternoon and evening with their friends, jumping into the picturesque and serene river, warmed from the mix of hot spring runoff and cool river water, enjoying that time in their lives when they're young, free, and the majority of their lives in front of them. They laughed, yelled, flirted with one another, and sat by the riverside with the backdrop of the scenic Yellowstone landscape. Little did Sara, Tyler, and Lance know that in just a few hours, everything would change for the worse. By nightfall, the group of 8 found themselves on the east side of the river, contrary to their usual starting point for swimming activities on the west side. Somewhere between 10 and 11 p.m., they began their walk back to their vehicles through an area without maintained trails. Montague, Buchi, and Hulphers trailed behind the others in the darkness of the moonless night with no flashlights. Sara was in the middle, holding hands with Buchi and Montague. As they walked north along Firehole River, they encountered an area dotted with superheated hot springs. The trio saw a thin ribbon of water in front of them, so they decided to jump over it together while still holding hands. Unfortunately, what they thought was a slim stream turned out to be a narrow strip of vegetation right at the precipice of Cavern Spring, concealed below. Their feet landed on the edge of the earthy bank above the spring, which gave way. They fell directly into the deep part of the spring, with the 2 boys submerged up to their necks in 178-degree temperature hot water, while Sara went completely underwater. In the distance, the other 5 heard their screams in the dark and rushed back. What they could see was the trio yelling in horror as their bodies were being boiled by hot water fueled by magma below. They were paralyzed by shock. Despite being terribly injured, all 3 victims were miraculously still conscious. Buchi and Montague managed to climb out of the spring, but the earthy banks collapsed again, causing Buchi to fall back into the scalding water. The others of the group recovered from their shock and attempted to save them, rescuing the 2 boys and assisting Sara out of the spring. What they witnessed was horrific. Their 3 friends were badly burned from the boiling hot water, clinging on to life. Buchi and Montague were assisted as they gingerly walked towards their vehicles while others carried Sara, who had sustained the most severe injuries. When the group returned to their vehicles, they floored it to the Old Faithful Clinic toward the parking area, waiting for park rangers to arrive, which took approximately 30 minutes. Once on the scene, rangers placed her in an ambulance. The 3 victims eventually lost consciousness. Ambulances transported them to the West Yellowstone Airport, where helicopters and airplanes flew them to the burn center in Salt Lake City via Idaho Falls. An immediate investigation was launched in the aftermath of the incident. Initially, the park rangers encountered difficulties in their investigation as all 3 victims were unconscious, rendering them unable to provide statements. Never before in the history of Yellowstone had there been an instance where 3 individuals suffered critical burn injuries simultaneously. Medical experts speculated that the trio had inadvertently leaped into the spring, unaware of its scorching temperature. This accident left park staff baffled, pondering how such an incident could unfold. Tragically, Sara Hulphers, who had sustained 3rd-degree burns across her entire body, succumbed to her injuries merely 14 hours later while receiving treatment at the burn center in Salt Lake City. Lance, Buchi, and Tyler Montague, enduring 2nd and 3rd-degree burns that covered over 90% of their bodies, faced grim prognoses from doctors. Astonishingly, the 2 men clung to life, drifting in and out of consciousness for several days. As they gradually regained their senses, they were able to recount the events to their caregivers. He believed it was solid ground he was jumping onto, later recounted Lance Buchi's mother. It is possible that the spring's temperature at 178 or 81 degrees Celsius, rather than the more scalding 195 or 90 degrees Celsius of many other springs, contributed to their survival. 40 years prior, park geologist George Marler had described Cavern Spring in an ominous manner, likening its shape to a double-bitted tomahawk, with its handle flowing into the river and its blade representing the 10-foot-deep cavern. Marler had noted that the spring's undercut and overhanging ledge posed a hazard to those who ventured too close to it. On June 12, 2001, as their son was still in the process of recovery, the parents of Lance Buchi initiated legal proceedings on his behalf, by filing a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court in Wyoming against the Department of the Interior and the National Park Service. Their aim was to seek unspecified compensation under the Federal Tort Claims Act to cover the medical expenses and the lasting physical disfigurement suffered by Lance Buchi. The lawsuit contended that government personnel had been negligent in failing to caution and safeguard him from the hazards associated with the thermal feature, neglecting the use of signs, barriers, or an area closure as precautionary measures. Initially, the government responded with a motion to dismiss, asserting protection under the Wyoming Recreational Use Act. However, Judge William Downs denied this motion initially, allowing the lawsuit to proceed. A complicating factor was the absence of thermal warning signs in the Yellowstone Park backcountry, even though they were abundant in the front country. At one juncture, Judge Downs personally visited the incident site during both daylight and evening hours to gain a first-hand perspective. On February 6, 2004, Judge Downs dismissed the Buchi lawsuit, citing a prior incident in Zion National Park as precedent. He asserted that the Zion case controls the disposition of the present case, and noted that this legal precedent could be applied even more rigorously in the Buchi case due to the remote backcountry location of the natural feature. National Park Service policies regarding aesthetic preservation and natural conservation are of paramount importance. According to the law, park officials must weigh various considerations when deciding whether to post warning signs, including resource allocation, visitor safety, and scenic preservation. The discretion given to them underscores the fact that physical barriers can detract from the natural experience, and ultimately, individuals assume their own risk when venturing into such environments. The ruling in the Buchi lawsuit now provides Yellowstone and other national parks with legal protection against similar legal actions. Buchi's case faced challenges due to factors such as the darkness of the night and the absence of flashlights during their walk, along with the argument that as park employees, they should have been aware of the potential dangers in a terrain marked by geothermal features. Many natural features found in national parks pose inherent safety risks to uninformed visitors. However, these features cannot be eliminated or secured in the same manner as those found in industrial or residential settings. Consequently, the primary focus of NPS public safety efforts lies in interpreting the significance of the park's natural features and educating visitors about the precautions necessary for a safe and enriching experience in that specific park unit. Yellowstone sits atop a volcanic hotspot and has one of the strongest concentrations of hydrothermal features in the world, according to the National Park Service. There are over 10,000 features throughout the 2.2 million acre park, including hot springs, geysers, mud pots, and steam vents. Hot springs, some of the most common features, are also one of its most dangerous. According to an article the U.S. Geological Survey recently published, 22 people have died at Yellowstone due to heat-related scalding since 1872, more than double the number of deaths from bear and bison encounters, and hundreds of injuries have been reported. Yellowstone visitors getting into perilous situations is a mainstream theme, and many videos on social media can be found with tourists getting too close to hot springs and wildlife. Yellowstone guide Jim Holstein has witnessed the phenomenon firsthand. It's pretty obvious and people do follow the rules for the most part, he said. It's really just to be out of curiosity, of people wanting to look up close to the springs or look down and see what's coming out of holes that you might not be able to directly see from the boardwalk. Ignoring the many warnings shows arrogance or disregard for the landscape. Holstein added that over the years, he's chosen to respond less to incidents where someone ventures off trail because it's becoming more common for visitors to react angrily. It's just not worth the confrontation nowadays, he said. While this particular incident involved employees, the same type of disregard for safety was evident and ultimately cost the life of Sara Hulphers and forever changed the trajectory of the lives of Lance Buchi and Tyler Montague. Sara Hulphers' funeral in Oroville, Washington, was a major event attended by more than 300 people. She had been a straight-A student and received awards and scholarships for her academic achievements. Her friend Yuvia Storm, 21, who worked with her, told friends that she and Sara were having the time of their lives working in Yellowstone. She was so happy, said Storm. Sara's father, Dan, agreed. She said it was the most wonderful experience she'd had in her whole life. Everyone she worked with liked her. She said she never felt so loved. Yellowstone's geothermal wonders offer a glimpse into the Earth's molten core, reminding us of the planet's age-old journey through time. It is a captivating paradox, a realm where nature's beauty and danger coexist in breathtaking harmony. Geysers burst forth like Earth's heartbeat, reminding us of the primal forces that shape our world. In their explosive dance, we witness both creation and destruction. Hot springs bubble and steam, inviting us into a realm of otherworldly beauty, but their depths conceal the fiery heart of our planet, making it extremely dangerous to enter. Visiting Yellowstone National Park is an incredible experience, but it's crucial to prioritize safety, as the park's natural beauty comes with potential hazards. Straying off marked paths can be dangerous and harmful to the park's fragile ecosystem. Stick to designated trails and boardwalks to ensure your safety and protect the environment. Yellowstone is home to a variety of wildlife. Admire these creatures from a safe distance. Never approach or feed them. Yellowstone's geysers, hot springs, and mud pots are captivating, but they can be extremely hot and dangerous. Stay on boardwalks and respect barriers to avoid scalding burns. If you plan to hike, carry bear spray and know how to use it. Make noise to alert bears to your presence and stay in groups. Follow the leave no trace principles by packing out all trash and disposing of it properly. This helps preserve the park's natural beauty. Water in Yellowstone can be deceptively cold and currents can be strong. Use caution when swimming or wading, and always wear life jackets when boating. Remember, safety in our national parks isn't just a set of rules. It's an act of reverence for the beauty and wonder of these natural sanctuaries. Crucial information so you can avoid an outdoor disaster. Thank you for watching. Want more outdoor disaster content? Check out these stories I believe you'll enjoy.